Hello, hello, and welcome to another live. All right, welcome one, welcome all. Happy to have you here. And of course, we're going to share some updates in the context of the DaCosta Cup and Manning Cup competitions, more so on the DaCosta Cup side. And can I tell you, things are getting hot. I am telling you, it's getting exciting. And with me this evening, Ryan is going to join in on this conversation. And also, we want to hear from you. So if you're in the chat there, we definitely want to hear from you. All right. It's that time when we're going to share and talk and, just have some fun while the students are entertaining us for sure. All right, so again, welcome one, welcome all. Happy to have you here. All right, so again, we're going to just share some updates with you in the context of the Costa Cup and Manning Cup competitions. Hello, Lilian, how are you doing?
Hello, let me know if you're hearing me. I am
Yes,
doing
I am
well.
hearing you. Hopefully, they're hearing us loud and clear in the chat there.
Yes, I hope so as well. Exciting day of football here, so it's good to have a little bit of update for persons who are interested in football.
Absolutely. So, guys, earlier I had to come on just to share some information with you guys in the context of some matches. All right. And so I have some results for you in that context, and we're here to share that information with you. So, we're just hoping that the number will increase here as we begin our conversation in the context of what is happening. So let us turn to the DaCosta Cup. So as you know, it's down now to the second round, and we have eight groups, so four teams or four schools in each group, and based on the rules of the competition, the top two from each group will move on to the next round, the round of 16. And so we can perhaps talk about group one because at least we had, yeah, Cornell College and Kempsey. All right, they played in group one. And so, guys, if you were here when we were making the predictions in the context of the groups or the schools that are going to come out, for example, of group one, we said it was, well, a Cornwall received. That was more like the prediction, but I can tell you that Cornwall College and Kempsey High, all right, so Cornwall College from St. James, Kempsey High straight out of Clarendon, let me tell you. All right, so Cornwall and Kempsey, right? They ended in a draw. So it was 1-1, right? But Kempsey apparently, for however that was, because we weren't there watching, they led a goal to nil for a good aspect of the game until Cornell College they were able to come back into this game, ended in a draw. So, Rulian, what does that tell you about Kempsey High School at this point?
Yes, interesting game. Hemphill wasn't one of the teams that you probably would look to come out of this group, but a good start from them to hold Cornwall College to a 1-all draw. And as you rightly said, they were leading for a good portion of this game, and for sad for them that they let one in. But that's a good start, and this group seems like it's going to be it's going to be really competitive for this group because most persons are, probably thinking Rossies and Cornwall College coming out of this group, but good work here by Kemsel.
Yeah, like fantastic. And, it's just happy to see Kempsey where, going. And by the way, we're doing a little tally, and it appears that Clarendon, they have the most teams in this round, in the second round, because we're doing a little tally, and I believe we've got about 6 schools from Clarendon in this one. And so it's good to see Kempsey. And if Kempsey can get out and move to the round of 16, that would be fantastic. Jappy, welcome, welcome. All right, we're here, Jappy. How are you? Happy to have you here. All right, so welcome, guys. As you enter, please remember to hit the like button, share button, and subscription button. So, as you would recognize from this table, all right, Rockies and Spot Valley, they are supposed to face off, and I believe that might be on Thursday. We're going to let you know the matches that are coming up, all right, before we leave. So we'll definitely keep you posted on that. But for sure, Hempstead High holding, Cornwall College there to a draw. That's, definitely a big thing for me, and a big game for Pencil. So well done to Pencil straight out of Clarendon Southwest. And absolutely well done to Cornwall College for sure. But the way we saw Cornwall coming out of the first round, one would expect to see, Cornwall perhaps giving Pencil a good run, but that wasn't the case there. All right. And by the way, let me see where this encounter. And it appears that this match was played at Jared Park in St. James. So you can imagine, Kempsey going all the way there to get a draw. So let's see what happens when Cornwall comes closer to the parish, to Clarendon. Max Morgan, all right. So there, thanks for liking. Fantastic. So that was group one in terms of an encounter there. So let's just try and see in group two here. All right, we had Black River and Ocherius. So this is another one too. And I'm just trying to see here. All right, so Black River and Ocherius, it ended in a nil all. All right, so it's a draw. And that was played at Drox All. All right, I believe. All right, so in that context, we ran Ocherius, Black River. What are you getting from this group? I believe in this group we have Tom, Tech, and Ochi to come out of this one based on our prediction. So just want to hear from you in the context here. What are some expectations here?
Well, I think this result is more in favor of Black River, as you rightly said. We're looking for From and Otorius to come out of this one, and the fact that Black River held Otorius to a draw, I think that argues well for them. So similar to Kempsville, I think Black River is off to a good start in this second round, and lots to do for the coaches as well to adjust their teams to playing in the second round because the competition here is much tighter, much stiffer than in the first round. So good start, I would say, a better start for Black River than Orchards, but there's still time for the teams to regroup and come again. And let's see how this group pans out as well, because the way that Black River apparently played in this match, it seemed like their team isn't so bad. So let's see how this continue, and we will definitely keep you abreast with this one. But good result, I would say, for Black River and Orchards. Got something out of it as well. But I'm sure they will
Yeah,
shape it
I,
up
I
to
think Black
keep
River
it.
would say, Black River would have been the better here. Because when we look at where Black River is coming from, Black River is coming from Zone C. All right, runners up to Manning. So they weren't even the winner of their zone. All right, and Orchards, they are the Zone K winner. And even if we go back to Clarendon, Cornwall College and Kensal, they finished, in the number 3 spot from Zone I. So for Kensal to be pulled in Cornwall College, who finished the top of their zone and they did fantastic based on the games, Cornwall College. It tells you a lot about the Clarendon teams because in that zone where Kempston is coming from, we had Glenmere, Garvis, and those teams are also here in the round of 32. So that gives us a sense of what we're dealing with. So I agree with you on this one to say Black River, you know, it would have been a better game for Black River as opposed to Otrius in this one. And as you can see from the table, guys, Cedric, Titus, and Frontech, they are yet to play. And again, we'll try to provide you with, some match updates in the context of upcoming games in a little bit. All right, so let's just navigate to the next group here. All right, so in this one, we have Stets, Manchester, Mannings, and William Nib. All right, now just to see if I can provide you with some context. Stets is coming from Zone E. They finished second in that zone behind Monroe. All right, Manchester is coming from Zone F, right? They finished second behind Belair. By the way, all teams in this zone they have played. All right, so in this zone, in this group, sorry, Stets played. Let me tell you who Stets played. I think it was William Nib. All right, and I'm just going to give you that information a little bit. Yes, the Stets, they played William Nib, and that encounter ended in 2 goals to 0 in favor of Stets. All right, Mannings, they played Manchester, and that encounter ended in 1 goal to 0 in favor of Manchester. All right, so pretty much the games here. So 2 games. So in this context, what I am seeing here, all right, is that the second place teams, so this is pretty much Heads and Manchester, they're pretty much doing far better than a Mannings. All right, William Nib was placed for second. So Mannings, and remember my prediction was for this zone in terms of the top two, Manchester and Mannings. All right, so we'll see what happens. All right, in this context. So over to you, Ryan.
Yes, interesting results in this one. Stetson, Manchester coming away with wins, and those are the two teams that I am betting on to come through from this group. So Manning's will have to regroup, but the good thing for Manning is that they just conceded that 1 goal, and
Right.
that's easy to remedy in terms of goal difference if it comes down to that. And Stet's got two on William Nib, and that is giving them a positive goal difference, which will come into play, I'm sure, probably later on in this competition. So it's a good start for Chester and Stets. Mannings will have to regroup and try to get back into reckoning. But as you rightly said, some of the teams who didn't top their groups, they're doing really well. And as I said earlier, the competition is more, it's a higher standard in the second round. So the better teams are going to stand out.
Well, I hope that's the case and based on what we're seeing here. But so far, so good for sure. All right, so let's just move to Group 4. All right, so in Group 4, Brownstone, all right, they played Malden. All right, and that encounter ended in a draw. All right, so we're going to try and put this into perspective here. All right, so it was 1-1 between Brownstone and Malden. All right, so let me tell you now where these two teams are coming from. All right, so Brownstone is coming from Zone K, and they were the runners up to Ocherius. All right, so Zone K, so they're second place finishers. And Malden, they too were second place finishers to Cornwall College in Zone A. So I'll perhaps say here, Ruben, that pretty balanced. Second place. I think they're pretty even here. What says you?
For sure, I'm in agreement with you in regards to that one. These guys went out, they played, and you know, the draw is not a bad result, but you would want. So I guess you'll have to try and find the team that you can get the upper hand on, and try your best to score as many goals away and home against that team, so that you have a good goal difference. But not about start for Brownstone and Malden. And I think Malden is one of the teams that you are betting on. So not a bad
Oh,
start in round two.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, for
and you
sure.
agree?
So I didn't get that last
Yes.
part.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I said that Malden is the team that you are betting on. So not a bad start for them.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, Malden and I believe Monroe here, the teams, and I am wondering if Alphonsus Davis we did some check and apparently this is another Clarendon school, by the way. So let me just tell you, I think it's a part of the Clarendon six that we counted in total in this round of 32. All right, and so Alphonsus Davis, I am wondering if perhaps that team might be the weakest here in Group 4, but we'll see what happens when they meet Monroe. All right. So that's pretty much that for Group 4. Let's move over to Group 5. All right. And Group 5, in this group, we saw Happy Grove and Homewood. All right. So Happy Grove and Homewood, and I believe, yes, Happy Grove won. And I'm just going to check to see the scores here. So it was 3-2 in favor of Happy Grove. All right, so Happy Grove, they moved to the top of the table, almost pretty much sitting there at the bottom. And Belair and Demby, they're yet to play. All right, so let me give you some context here for Happy Grove and Homewood Tech. All right, so Happy Grove, they are the winners of Zone L. All right, so Happy Grove and Homewood Tech, they are second in Group G. So from Zone G, sorry, Christiana, then Homewood Tech, then Alphonsus Davis, all right, coming out there in that number 3 spot. So I guess you would expect Happy Grove to have the better of the play here in terms of they winning their zone and Homewood there in second. So I guess I'm not too surprised about this one. The teams that we're expecting to come out of this zone, Belair and Denby. So we'll see what happens. So over to you, Ryan.
Yes, interesting group here because Happy Grove played Homewood in this first game in this group, and the teams that we have to come out of this group is Belair and Denby, the two teams that we're vying for. So the fact that Happy Grove take that early lead in this
Win.
group, yes, it's going to be interesting because what will happen between Belair and Denby in that game, I think tomorrow. So that's going to be an interesting one. And I think that's a good game to watch, that Belair versus Denby, because they are going to be trying their best to go to the top. And this is going to be the match of this group as I think as well. The games that Belair and Denby will go up against each other.
Yeah, for sure. And you know the next thing too, Bel Air, right? They top zone F. all right, coming over. So they were the winners of Zone F with Manchester in second. Denby is really a third place team coming out of that super Clarendon zone or one up. All right, and so from zone H, we had Central topping that zone, and then Clarendon College defending champions, then Denby. So it's going to be interesting to see how Denby, handles things. If they get a draw, then it might be good for them, but it might not be good. So it all depends. And so that's why I'm telling you, this thing is just getting sweeter and sweeter as the matches are being played. What says you, Ian?
Yeah. So just to add to this group as well, because persons might be wondering why go with a Demby high and they finished third in their group. So Demby finished third in that group there, and they beat the teams that were ahead of them. So
Right,
Demby had won Central, and they also won CC in a
Clarendon
game.
College, yeah,
So
for sure.
so that's so that they have some pedigree in the team there, and we're just looking to see what they will do in round two.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. That was necessary. Yeah, because why? Third position, why are you taking them? Big good point there. Over to group six now. All right, so in group six, all right, we saw Dintil and Port Antonio. All right, they played to a draw, right? And I think it was nil. So a nil draw,
You
and
are the
this,
one, you are the
yeah, and this one is a little bit. I don't want to say shocked because Soji told us that Dintil is going to win this zone or this group, but we have Central and Port Antonio to come out of it. All right, so we'll definitely see, what happens here. So it was a nil draw here between Dintil and Port Antonio, which is interesting. All right, so Central and Yalas, they are yet to play. So Central will play Yalas, I believe, tomorrow, and then we'll see, what happens in this one. So this zone is getting interesting. So Central should just go out there and win that match and try to get that 3 points and just start to separate themselves from the rest of the group, the table, the schools in this group. All right, so I'm just going to come over to you and just to get a sense of what you're thinking in the context of group six.
Well, this is one of the groups where you would say probably Dintil, Port Antonio, and Central would be the top teams in this group. Not sure how good Yalas is, but the fact that Central top their group, I'm thinking they will have to go to Yalas and score as many as they can. I'm thinking that would be the goal for them to just go and score as much as they can to build their goal difference up. Because, we could argue that Port Antonio and Dintil is equally matched based on that result there. So if they are as if they're going to be giving Central some competition, then Central have to make sure that they take care of business with Yala. But as I said, when these teams meet in that first encounter, will give us a good idea of what is happening in each group, because we're still fielding around to find out, how good some of these teams are. But this second round will definitely show who are, have the schools that are having that hunger for that trophy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that was group six. All right, over to group seven. All right, in this group, we have Paul Bogle. Clarendon College, Glenmuir, and Titchfield. Now, this group is one of another big group, but again, based on our predictions, we're expecting Clarendon College and Glenmuir to get out of this group. All right. So, in the context of the encounter between Paul Bogle and Titchfield, it was 3 goals to 0 in favor of Paul Bogle. And let me see if I can give you some context. Paul Bogle, right? They were the runner up behind Happy Grove. So remember we looked at Happy Grove, having that win. All right, so they are runners up, Paul Bogle. Titchfield, they're also in the second spot. They're coming out of Zone M behind Port Antonio. So pretty much two second place kind of teams here playing, and Paul Bogle 3 goals to 0. All right, and could that give us an indication of Happy Grove as a team, Ryan?
I'm here. Well, uh, it could because if Paul Bogle was second in that group and they're doing, as I said, it's kind of hard to say. But one thing for sure, though, Paul Bogle did well in that game against Litchfield, and having a positive goal difference at the end of that first game it argues well for them going, through to the next round. So they did their job, 3 goals, they kept a clean sheet. So, that means that they have a positive goal difference, and, they'll have to just try to stick, to stick it out when they come up against the likes of Clarendon College and Glenmuir. And if they can win one of these two teams, then you know
They're
they
in.
will be in good running. Yeah, good running for the next round. But we have to bear in mind that there's going to be a return leg as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so with Alboga winning Titchfield, we could literally say they're going to get 6 points from them, figuratively speaking. So they'll have to try and
Right.
find a way to get points from Clarendon College
Ireland,
and Glenmuir.
Ireland College, or Glenmuir. Hmm.
Yeah,
And
and then we
because
have to
you
be
know what is going to happen here is it's a good start for Paul Bogle because Glenmuir, Clarendon College, one of them they're perhaps going to lose, or the best outcome for both would perhaps be a draw. So if Paul Bogle is able to capitalize on that with at least a draw from one, then they'll be in a good position in getting out. That is, if they're able to go back and do what they did to Titchfield in terms of getting a win here. So it's
for sure.
interesting, guys.
So then again, in this group, the matchup between Glenmuir and PC Clarendon College is going to be of importance because chances are the winner of this group, well, not this group, but the winner of
This
that match will
game,
top the group.
top the zone.
So that's what I am thinking here. But all in all, if you probably want to predict anything, probably these teams are going to be Titchfield. So it's going to be a face off for the top two spots among Clarendon College, Glenmuir, and Paul Bogle, who has started so well.
Yeah, wonderful. So I have this question to ask. And so, guys, Central CC, they were second place, right behind Central High School, right? And Glenmuir, they won Zone I. All right, so they're the winners of that zone. And given what we saw from, CC Rural, do you believe that CC perhaps misjudge in terms of the field? Because do you believe CC would want to be in a group with Glenmuir at this stage?
Well, I'm not sure how the groups are selected, to be honest. That's something that I need to do some research on. So I'm not sure if they had any, insights where they
No,
would finish
I'm
or
just
where
saying
they would.
like they had some insights because some of the matches were delayed due to, I guess, issues, rain and whatever. CC knew, right, at some point that, for example, they could have ended in the number three spot, or so they had to play. But I was getting some information from that camp that they changed Roche. So that was Burrell. And Mr. Burrell, if you're here, good evening, sir. And as a result, some whatever happened in terms of those games, like teams scoring on them, for example. And I am wondering if, in retrospect, they would have done something differently. Because I am wondering, because but for, all right, let's look at which group is Demby in? I think we passed Demby, right? Demby and Belair, they're
Yes,
in that
sir.
group. But is it a case, for example, where CC would want to switch places with a central?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Let's see. The
Let me
group
just go
Port
back to that
Antonio,
group with
Port
central. So this is
Antonio,
the group with
Cynthia,
central.
Yala. So they would be probably in this group, Yalas, Port Antonio, Dinfield. So I don't think that the good thing about this round is that you just need to try your best to secure a top two spot. Try to get yourself into that position where you're in the top two, so you know you're going forward to the next round, and then try to push to get that leadership in terms of the top of this group. So you'll play the second place from the other group. So if I were in their shoe, I wouldn't worry too much. I wouldn't worry too much. I would just try my best to ensure that any mistakes that I've made in the previous round, we don't repeat it, and try to finish in the top two. And it's you mentioned the fact that Borrell didn't was probably not keeping in some of the games that they conceded goals. But the thing is, with football too, you want to expose as much of your bench as possible, and probably that's what they were thinking, just in the case of injury. So, you know, they said that hindsight is 2020 in terms of vision.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so they tried and it didn't work. But the good thing is that they are in the second round and they'll have to just make sure they make some good decisions, and they will have to just
Yeah, like
bear
I
the
mean,
consequences of everything.
I want to see them go. It would be unfortunate for them to not make it out. Not saying that they won't, but I'm just wondering in terms of those, I guess calculations that the team and overall management made, if they are now looking to say, because I feel that if they could have avoided this group, they would. Because here you will have a central. Central would be in here. Glenmere, Hallbogle, Titchfield. I feel like CC, they can handle Dintil. They know about Dintil, and remember we always talk about how CC gifted Central pretty much. That encounter was that what 2 years ago? Time is flying, man. When they net up Dintil, right? And so in that context, I am just wondering if, but we'll see what happens. And guys, we're still saying CC Glenmere to get out of this group. But because we know that Glenmere and CC they're going to play, I believe tomorrow, and we'll be here with some updates. We are wondering now if it's a case where Glenmere and CC can win against a Paul Bogle, who is pretty much sitting there on 3 points, waiting to see what happens in the next games. Right, so that's group seven. So as I tell you, it gets more interesting. But no, we're going to this group here because I am wondering what is going on. All right, so Everybody played in this one, right? And St. Mary High School, I don't know, they got 8 goals. 8. Magra gave them 8 goals to 1. I believe that was the result there. All right, and let me tell you where Magra is coming from. So Magra, they are the winners of Zone J. So Dintil was second in that zone. All right, St. Mary High, I don't know where to find them. St. Mary High. Uh, I don't remember where St. Mary is coming from. So perhaps they finished like in a number 3 spot or something like that. Or second, somewhere there. Alright, so they are here, or perhaps the best place, one of those teams. And as you can look here, 8-1, that's a big goal difference as you can see. So Magra has pretty much set up themselves in the context of goal difference. Then the other matchup was between alright Garvey and Christiana. And I tell you about the Clarendon schools, right? So in that context, it was 1 goal to 0. Alright, between Garvey Masseo and Christiana. So let's give you some context. Christiana, they are the winners of their zone. All right, zone G. That's where they're coming from. Garvey Massio, they're coming from zone I, second place behind Glenmere High School. So that tells me too that, and we had Garvey and Christiana, I believe, to get out of this zone. But what we're seeing here now, even with the win from Garvey Massio, they're trailing McGrath. So that is telling me that perhaps, Christiana and McGrath, when when those two teams meet, it's going to be fierce. And Garvey and McGrath, Garvey will have to ensure that they try to at least get a draw. I don't know what is going to happen, but I'm going to come over to you and perhaps you can put this into perspective better than how I am trying to picture the possibilities here. Rian, Rian, I'm not hearing you. Are you still here?
Okay, yes, I'm thinking,
Okay,
sorry.
fantastic.
I was just saying that I searched up for St. Mary. St. Mary's coming from Group M, and they finished
Oh, where the
third
third
place.
place finishers?
Yeah, third place
Okay.
behind
Titchfield.
Port Antonio and Pittsfield. Yes. So that's where they're coming from. And, they're not off to the best start in the round, in the second round, because conceding 8 goals in that, it means that their goal difference is going to be, negatively affected. So not the best start for St. Louis, but Magra has put themselves in a
Yes.
outstanding position. And once it comes down to goal difference, then chances are they're going to have an edge. But it's going to be how the other teams are able to
To deal with
play
St.
against
Mary, right?
them, because what I realized from the results that I saw in the first round, St. Mary, they scored about 25 goals, but they conceded about 15. So that is showing me that they have good
The
attacking players,
defense.
but they're trying to beat the targets. So with a team that has a good defense to shut down their offensive play and are able to score, as McGrath did, you would see that the goal difference is going to be something that comes into play. And when you think about a team being dominated 8-1, the fact that they still scored, it shows that they still have some pedigree in terms of striking, but defensively, they need a bit of work. So it's going to be a lot of about this group is going to be dependent on how well the St. Mary's defense can stand up to the striking force of the other three teams. So whenever Christiana and Garvey Maceo and the Magra meets St. Mary,
St. Mary.
it's going to come down. It's going to come down to who scored the most goals against them. I believe. Or it could be a case that St. Mary's offense just outscore one of these teams as they have done in the first round. So an
Well, I
interesting
hope,
group.
well, for the sake of God, we must say, I hope not, because as we mentioned, St. Mary has to be that target to kind of run in with that goal difference that McGrath has right now. And so I guess teams are looking, especially like a Garvey Massey, they should be looking and say, oh, we need to capitalize, in this game with St. Mary. They need to get as much goals as they can from this one to try and kind of close that goal difference gap right now with McGrath between them and McGrath because that is huge. And that will make a big difference here given the competitiveness of the teams.
For sure, I agree with that. So let's see how if St. Mary is able to lock up shop, as we would say in Jamaica, and spring a few surprises here. But as I said, history is not on their favor, and it is underscored with this loss against McGrath.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome, welcome, guys. If you're just tuning in, please remember to hit the like button, the share button, and the subscription button. Let's turn on your post notification because it's the season is getting hotter and hotter. Even though I'm not sure what will happen in the context of the games, because as you know, a flash flood warning is in effect. All right, and so we'll definitely see what happens. So perhaps some of these games might be, delayed depending on the weather conditions. But for sure, we have seen some games, and we're just here. So I'm just going to ask you, yeah. So based on the matches that were played today, which one would you say is the match of the day? Like, if you were to select a game to say, okay, you know what, this match is the match of the day because this school did this. Which match would you select?
All right, good question. But before I get into that, I want to, welcome everyone who's here with us and just encourage you to hit that like button, hit the subscription button if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to receive, more updates as it relates to the DCup and the Manning Cup. We totally appreciate having you here. And if you're here, represent your school in the chat and tell us which group
Absolutely.
you want to see which team coming from whatever group. We would love to have that. We love the interaction with you all the time. So let us know if you're here and who you're represented. We'd really appreciate that. Back to your question of the game of the day. I would select that game between Happy Grove and Homewood there. I think that game must have been really intense. Happy Grove taking that one, 3 goals to 2. And, no matter the order in which those goals were scored, I think that game must have been a cracker because both teams, seem to be good, in that one. And, Happy Grove just edging Homewood there. And I'm going to turn this one around on you as well. Which one would you think the game of the day today?
All right, good question. So before I answer that, lifestyle, you choose welcome, and lifestyle is saying Black River High. So lifestyle is supporting Black River High School straight out of St. Elizabeth, absolutely. And round two, what about that group? We're gonna go back there. We talked about Black River. We're gonna go back there for you, lifestyle, in a little bit. In the context of the match, I am perhaps leaning toward the game between Thames High School and Cornwall College. albeit the fact that it ended in a draw, 1-1. I don't even know the details in terms of the specifics around how the goals were scored, but I am wanting to go to that one in that context, just leaning to that game, given how the updates came in. Kempsey, leading Cornwall College 1-0, and then Cornwall College, I guess coming back because, as I said in the context, and let me just show you guys that group one in the context of everything all being equal, right? Pencil was not on my radar like that. It was more okay. Cornwall is going to dominate, and when we're doing the predictions, we did have Pencil in mind because they came out in the number three spot again from that group zone I with Glenmere Garvey. All right, and so I wasn't giving Pencil the time of the day. So now Pencil has thrown us, a lifeline. Think about that, especially country people in Frank Clarendon. Pencil gives Southwest, and by the way, in the context of Southwest Clarendon, we have two schools from Southwest Clarendon, Pencil High School and Garvey Masio, representing Southwest, right? So big up to Southwest Clarendon. All right, and then we have Wally from Central Clarendon, Glenmere Central, Denby. So good representation there. It puts the CCs up north there in the context of CC and then Spalding. So we have a good representation in the parish. But that's what I'm saying there, Kempsey. I wouldn't, if you ask me, and if you even ask me again, like, I wouldn't say Kempsey would kind of hold Cornwall to a draw. So I'm hoping to get some more information about, what happened. But I am so happy for Kempsey. They're in it. They're still in this one. And I guess this will give them some motivation. And this game was played, at Jarrett Park. So hopefully their next encounter with Spot Valley, not too sure where that is going to be, but we'll provide you with that information a little bit if it's available, would be closer to Omar. Perhaps they're going back down, west. But it is what it is. They'll get their time. So that's pretty much what I have to share about that, Ruben. Lifestyle, that's a high scoring team in that group and some good defense too. So that's Black River. Let me just go to the group where Black River is. All right, lifestyle. So here we go. Oh yeah, Black River. They ended in a draw with Orchards. And when we were discussing, we said we have given Black River the edge in this game simply because Black River they ended second in their zone, coming over from zone C. All right, with Manning. So Manning's top that zone. Black River was in second, but Orchards they were the winners of zone K. And so for Black River to hold them to a draw, kudos to Black River in that context. All right, so that's the situation there with Black River. They're in Group Two, so they're going to play Chrome Tech next, and we'll see what happens in this one. All right, so our prediction though for Group Two, Chrome Tech and Otrius, but we'll see what happens. But big game for Black River. And perhaps we should go to the groups. So now that we kind of talk about, the for the matches that were played today in the context of overall, we perhaps should go to group by group and kind of decide who is the best team you would say from the group, if you get what I'm saying. So group one, I'm giving it to Kempsey. What says you?
Okay, yes, to be honest, you have to give the edge to Kempsey there. Didn't expect Kempsey to give Cornwall any trouble, but they did go out there and represented themselves. really well and almost got the 3 points. So, I would also, I would support you on that one, Temsil.
All right, so and again, this is just based on the games that were played today. All right, so Rusty's and Spot Valley, they're yet to play. So we're just talking about the games that were played today. So in Group 2, between Ochi and Black River draw, I'm giving that to Black River. What says you?
Before I go into that, I have to say big up to Lifestyle. Your team did really well today, and I definitely give them the thumbs up for that performance. Not one of the teams that I personally, looking for to get out of this group, but they did well, putting in a good performance against a good Ulterior team. So, all the best to your team, and hopefully Black River continues to surprise us.
Yeah, for sure. And over to this group with Stets, Manchester, Manning, William Nib. I'm going to say I am giving this to Stets because they weren't in my prediction and everyone played a game in this one. All right, so I'm giving this one to Stets. What says you, Ruben?
Well, I'm going to, support you on that one. Steph is one of the teams that I am looking for to
For
go come out
sure.
of this group alongside Manchester. So they're, representing my predictions very well. A good
Well,
start,
I see.
two goals not conceding. Very good start to their second round. So definitely stats for this one.
Fantastic. Yeah. And over to group 4, Brownstone, Malden, Alphonsus, and Monroe. So it's just Brownstone and Malden. And I'm going to give it to Brownstone because they weren't in my predictions. And kudos for them coming in, a second place team, but it's another second place team, but I'm giving it to Brownstone. What says you, Ruben?
Do Yes, so yes, Brownstone for this one as well. Not one of the teams that I was looking for to come through from this group, but after a good start, and once you go out there and compete, anything is possible, and they seem to have gone out there and did really well. Malden is one of the teams that you are looking forward to coming out of this one, I
Yeah,
think so. So that's a good start for Brownstone. And, let's see how the group pans out.
for sure. And lifestyle is saying, I think we can upset. So that's Black River can upset Chrome. All right, because sets show they can score and they're not going to give up, I guess, opportunities. All right, so thanks for sharing that. All right, so Black River, your support is here. Over to group 5. Oh, this is a no-brainer, no? Based on the games, so Happy Grove Homewood definitely giving that to Happy Grove.
Yes, for sure. Happy Grove would have to take that, for this one. Good performance out there. As I said, this was the game that I selected in terms of, one of the most interesting
Right,
of year. So it's good that they have the 3 points and might need to be working on their defensive half of the field, but a win is a win, and they have a goal difference. Good thing for Homewood is that they scored 2 goals despite losing, and they're not so far behind in terms of goal difference,
the
but
goal
definitely
difference.
happy with
All right, fantastic. And then over to group 6, we have Dintil, Port Antonio, Central, Yaras. I'm going to give this to Dintil simply because I was expecting Port Antonio to, give a better showing in this one. So, in this group, I have Port Antonio and Central to get out. But in terms of what happened today, I'm going to give it to Dintil based on the games today. What says you?
it. Yes, Dintil for sure. Based on the performance of Puerto Antonio in the first round two, I'm expecting loss from Puerto Antonio, but Dintil, rising to the occasion here, and
occasion. And
yes, and
as you
showing
talk about rising to the occasion, who just rise up in the chat.
must so
Surgery, Carlton, Lovelace, blessings to you. Shall I remember? I tell you, didn't you go hold them to a draw today in a surgery? And so, yeah, we're giving that performance to Dintil between Dintil and Port Antonio. So that's fantastic. And so, just I did tell you guys, let's see if they win the zone. So, it's not over yet. Central is there, all right. But we'll see what happens for sure. So in group seven, well, this one is a no-brainer here. It's just between Paul Bogle and Titchfield. So this one going to Paul Bogle, of course. What says you, Ruben?
Definitely Paul Bogle for this one. Really good performance by them, getting three goals, not giving up any. Can't ask for a better start in a group like this. And with a group where you have Glenmuir and Clarendon College, it's good to be, out front
Ahead.
and say, come and pass me, come and catch me if
Come
you
and
can.
get me if you
And
can.
that's really, really good for them. I just want to take time out to big up Soji, looking forward to see what Dintil do in that group. I'll see how, good your predictions are. And we're looking out for Black River as well. So let us know if you guys going to see any of the games and what you think about them.
Yeah, absolutely. So over to group eight, and again, this one is obvious to McGrath and St. Mary. They played McGrath 8 goals to 1. So McGrath taking this one. What says you, Ruben?
Definitely Magra to be able to score 8 goals in the second round, that speaks volume. So great to have that goal difference. That will help them, I'm sure, going forward. So, as we said earlier too, when you get to play St. Mary, you have to try and fill it up as much as
Yes,
possible.
man. Net it up.
Let see like the defense isn't so strong, but they have a few guys I think that does well on
Can
the
attack.
striking
Hmm.
team. So you have to be careful not to go all out and let them catch you out because they have good strikers. But the defense, I think the defense is found
Needs a
wanting.
lot of work.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's it. But Magra did well to their goal difference there by scoring 8 goals and just conceding one.
Yeah, that was fantastic of them, but kind of surprising to see this big goal difference at this stage. But it is what it is. That's the reality of the DCup games. I am just thinking that perhaps we're not going to have updates given the weather conditions. All right, so perhaps we won't have some of these games played tomorrow, but for sure we're here, and if we just need to come and talk some more about whatever. But do you have anything else to share? We can always come back to DCup. I want to try and share some Manning Cup updates because people are gonna say we're biased. But guys, Manning Cup they haven't gone well. Some teams have made it over into the round of 16. All right, and so they haven't totally finalized. And then some matches that were scheduled to play today, for example, based on updates that we're getting, Waterford and Jonathan Grant as well as the encounter between Bridgeport and Excelsior did not happen due to rain. All right, so that's a part of the situation. And I think we had this conversation last season, Ruben, when we were talking about the possibility of starting the games earlier or something because this season it's just predominantly wet, right? Hurricane season, and so that has affected the play somewhat. But I don't know what will happen, but that's the situation, and eventually we'll get through to the finals. So we'll see what happens in that context. So do you have anything to share before we kind of switch gears to the Manning Cup?
No, just want to wish the teams all the best in the second round. I think, a team like McGrath that scored those 8 goals, might have, you know, place themselves at an advantage. I'm thinking, St. Mary might work on their defense and the other teams won't be able to score so many against them. So, let's see how the rest of the second round pans out in the DaCosta Cup and ready to look and see what has been the progress in the Manning Cup.
Yeah, so guys, I'm just going to try and navigate to the Manning Cup. All right, so just give me a little bit of second here for me to just get to that page for you guys. But as I shared with you, the Manning Cup, all right, it's not yet, I guess, finalized in terms of the round of 16. So we're going to show you. Well, I guess I can also tell you too some of the teams that have made it out. All right, so this is Zone A, and as you can see, we're still having some next match here in terms of trying to figure out who is pretty much going to end at the top of the table, that kind of thing. All right, so we still have a little bit more to go, and then with the weather conditions that have been affecting the games, we're likely perhaps going to wait a little bit more before we get that particular information in terms of the final 16 that will move forward. But I am just trying to tell you, all right, so far, in terms of group one, right? Mona I is pretty much in, all right? And then we're waiting for the runner up of zone G, the runner up of zone C, and then the best third place, all right? So that is group one. So when you think about that, let's see, runner up of zone G. All right, if we go all the way here to zone G for the Manning Cup, so we'll see what's the situation. So we're waiting for the second place. And I think we kind of call this one, Ruel, given what was happening below the table, we kind of call this to say St. Catherine High School is likely. But because there are games to be played, we still have to wait that out. All right, so and then the run-up of group of zone C as well should be in this group one. All right, and then in the context of this one again, we call this one for champion, but we'll see because champion and Casey they have a match to play. But given the goal difference, we're saying that even if Casey should lose, all right, champion getting the 3 points, bringing them to 25. They will have to score a lot of goals to get this 67, right? To kind of reach. So we kind of call this one for champion. So we're expecting to see champion in group one, as well as St. Catherine I and whoever the best third place team will be. All right, so in group two is not yet finalized. So they're waiting for the winner of zone A, winner of zone E. All right, so let's just see zone A here in the Manning Cup just to see what it's looking like. All right, so here is the situation, right? It's a close call between Helsham and Idel. So that is why we can't really make a call here just yet. and they're going to play each other. So if Idol should get the better of them, then Idol will move to the top of the table. Or if Eltham, then it's going to be Eltham. But that's the situation between these two. All right, so winner of zone A, winner of zone E, runner up in terms of zone B. Let's see zone B, the runner up here. And again, this one is kind of hard to decide. Mona is already there, all right, in group one. So Mona booked their spot already. So right now, it's really close here between Charlie Smith and Jonathan Grant. We see the goal difference, but a win, and depending on the games, perhaps two games to go for Jonathan Grant, one for Charlie Smith. So, that one is yet it's very close. All right, and then the winner of Zone E should be in this group two. And here, Wilma's boys, Tivoli, kind of similar situation, right? We don't know who is going to win. So that's pretty much that. So far it's really Mona that is in the table. And then zone three, winner of C, winner of zone D, runner up of E, and runner up of A. And again, we talked about those zones. All right, and then for the winner of zone G. So we're yet to see, and we're zone G, we're saying perhaps Georges, but look at again, we talked about this already, it's very close with zone G, so we don't know who is going to take that one. So far in terms of the Manning Cup, Mona High School is the only one who is already safe and alright in terms of being in Group 1 and just waiting for the others to just come on in. So that's the situation there, Ruben. But I can just share quickly with you guys before I come over to you, Ruben, some updates from, games played today. All right, so we're just going to share that information with you. All right, so Mona, they hammered Gainstead 15 goals to nil. All right, so that was pretty much the only matter. I spoke about Waterford and Bridgeport. Those games weren't played due to rain. So that's the situation there in the context of the Manning Cup updates. Ruan, your views?
Yeah, not much to talk about for the Manning Cup because of the lack of matches. But as you said, a few games need to be played for the teams to advance, the 16 teams to advance to the next round, and we won't be able to predict who will go through because of the game not being played. But the one game that went through probably had enough goals for all the ones that weren't played because Mona went on a rampage there. And I'm looking at the table and it's Gainstead has lost their last 5 games, and I tell you, they have conceded a whopping 89 goals. So 89 goals scored against them. So not having
Wow.
the best this season. So hopefully they'll be able to pick up things and do better next next time around. So I think they still have a game to go. So they might be able to make it up to 100. I don't know. I hope not. But yes, they we're looking forward to getting some good weather and getting some good games in so that this can progress.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let us see. And again, just to share, I'm just going to tell you if there's anything being played tomorrow or what should we expect. All right, so in the context of, let me just switch over here a little bit so you guys can follow. In the context of the Manning Cup, and I'll go back to do this for the DaCosta Cup. So, all being well, and perhaps we might not see these games. We should see Tivoli and Woolmer's boys. All right, so that's tomorrow. And then Denham Town and St. Jago. All right. We should also see Edith Dalton James and St. Mary's College. And that's for tomorrow. And then here, the 18th, that would be Friday, we should see KC and Campion, Cumberland and Osemarty, Penwood and Meadowbrook, St. George's College and St. Catherine. Alright, so that's pretty much what I have, I believe. Alright, in that context there. Alright, those are the games. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get those for the DaCosta Cup as well, so that you guys can get a sense of the updates in terms of some games that we're expecting, but again, they may not or perhaps might not happen, given the context of the weather conditions that we might get. So we'll definitely, and I can't wait because I really want to see, for example, that matchup with Central and, all of the schools. So just give me a second here. All right, here we go. So in the context of the 17th Central and Yala, so we're not sure if that is going to happen, but for sure we'll keep you posted, guys. So once we have the updates and something is happening, I'll try to give you a quick, like a quick update and then tell you, okay, guys, we're going to try and go live, later on, but just to give you a quick update of what is happening. Then we should also have Glenmuir and Clarendon College. And that's going to be an exciting one. Belair and Denby. It's not excitement when it comes down to the DCup. Chrome Tech and Cedric Titus. Spot Valley and Rossies. Monroe College and Alphonsus Davis. So as you can see here, tomorrow should be should have been a big day, let's say that way. Should be a big day for DCup. But given the weather conditions, we're not too sure if we're going to get to see all of these matches. All right, and then you have on the 19th, which I believe would be Saturday, Brownstown, Monroe, Spot Valley, Pencil, Happy Grove, Denby, all right, Black River, Chrome Tech, Christiana, St. Mary, and Port Antonio, Yalas, Garvey, McGraw, Homewood, Belair, Racines, Cornwall, Dintil, Central. So some Thursday, Saturday, big days for the cup, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. For sure, given the weather conditions. So, Ruan, anything else you'd like to share with us? And guys in the chat, anything you'd like to share with us before we wrap up here? So, Ruan.
Yeah, just excited to find out what will happen in the other games in the group. So just looking forward to those, and can't wait to see how close the predictions are or how far off, and just how well these teams will do in the second round.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you mean in the second round of the second round of games? That's what you're talking about, or just out in general in this round?
In the second round in general.
Okay.
So yes, second round in general.
Yeah, so for sure, I was absolutely thrilled because that's what kind of get me saying, no, I have to do a quick live, man. when I saw, the updates for Pencil coming in, I was very excited about that. And these things, I always say that it's just life. Sometimes things happen, you're up, you're down, you win some, you lose some, but it's all okay. It's called life, and it's just how we look at what we're losing and what we're gaining from that loss to prepare us to be the winners that we want to be. That is definitely significant. And just remember, guys, to continue to support the students, win, lose, or draw. They're going out there to give up their best, all right? Nobody's going out there to lose. They're going out there to do their best to represent their school, to represent themselves, the community, parents. They're going out there. And so just support them because it takes a lot, not just physically. And I always say the psychological part is definitely important in the context of, how they are, I guess, dealing with like a loss, and especially when it's big and significant. So we want to support them as best as we can. So you can come over here, show your support, attend the matches if you can, support them. If you know players, leave a word of encouragement with them. Just show them some support as they continue to represent, their schools. That is significant. So support, support, support. Any final comments, Ryan, before we go?
Just want to join you and expressing all the best to the student athletes who are out there representing, and just to round up the support for these kids, win, lose or draw, we need to support them. They're going out there doing something that they love and something positive with their life. Then we should all embrace them and support them throughout this process.
Absolutely fantastic. So, guys, thank you so, so much. And, I'm going to try and bring you like some live updates. So, if I have to just take a 10 minutes to just inform you guys of what is happening, I'm going to do that. I'm going to find my mobile device and just try to connect with you. All right, you might not see the screen, but for sure you'll get some updates. So, stick and stay with us, guys. Thank you so, so much. And please remember to share, tell a friend to tell another friend about the Voices in Education, where we're here and we want to expand our community. We also have a goal to support students, and I want to work on a little project for a breakfast program that I am hoping that you guys will be able to help with. And so I am just asking you to share, tell your friends, your family members, your family and friends in the, overseas, wherever they are in the world. Just tell them about Voices in Education. Again, Voices in Education is a safe space where we share and learn from each other. We do that in a respectful way, so we do not bash anyone, we do not belittle anyone. We understand that we share different views, and that is totally okay as long as we are respecting each other. So we can agree to disagree, but that is totally fine. And again, we like variety. There is so much richness in diversity. So it's okay if we don't share the same viewpoint. We just share in a respectful way because we want to maintain our safe space, our safe community where you feel valued, where you feel a sense of belonging. So when you come over here, you say, yes, I like this little place. I want to come back. I like how, I can share and, nobody's being rude because we can do that. We can express ourselves. We can talk what we want to talk and we can share what we want to share, but we don't need to, diss anybody. Pretty much that. All right, guys. So again, appreciate the love and the support. All right. Blessings and love, everyone. And I will see you in the next live. All right. Bye for now.